Thank you all for sending questions for this week's edition of the Q&A. If you guys have questions for me, description box down below with all the details on how you can send in questions. Batman kicks off the Q&A asking who would win, me or The Miz? Of course you would, Batman. You have more skills than The Miz. Sorry, Miz. I love you and all, but man, if you're going to face Batman in a fight, you're going to get your ass kicked. The Shadow asks, who do you hate more, Garbage Man or the Bunny? I hate both very, very much, because they both are terrible things in professional wrestling. But it has to be Garbage Man more than the Bunny. Because at least the Bunny, although it's a stupid character and such a stupid idea, it's a part of a lower card feud. The Garbage Man is being featured as a big star in main event feuds. That is just ridiculous to me that this motherfucker is getting more spotlight and more shine than Tyson Kidd, Cesaro, hell, even Curtis flippin' Axel. I would prefer those three over the Garbage Man, especially Curtis Axel, who I've gone on record in saying that the WWE should have fired this guy. So I hate the Garbage Man more. The Chase Allen asks, are you a fan of the Legend of Zelda games? If you are, what are some of your favorite ones? Oh yeah, I'm a fan of the Legend of Zelda games. My favorite is Majora's Mask, because that was like the first one I played. Ocarina is a better game, but I always liked Majora's Mask. Majora's Mask was a much more challenging game to me, and definitely had some dungeons I liked exploring. So I would have to go with Majora's Mask. I also like Twilight Princess. Twilight Princess was actually a pretty good game. I don't think it gets that much love. I think a lot of people didn't like that you turned into a wolf, but I felt the wolf gameplay was a nice change of pace. It felt like playing Majora's Mask when you would get a new mask and you could use it. So that's why I liked Twilight Princess. So those would be my two. And I also like Wind Waker. Wind Waker was pretty fun. Snowdrop asks, imagine this. It's the Royal Rumble. Daniel Bryan just eliminates Roman Reigns. Oh no. The Yes Chants fill the arena when suddenly CM Punk's music hits. Fans start cheering, expecting his return. But then it's a twist. It's actually Batista. He eliminates Daniel Bryan and pisses off 90% of the IWC. How would that be if it happened? Deal with it. Batista. Batista. I'll tell you what, you won't see me complaining. I love Batista. I'm a Batista fan. I'm more of a Batista fan than I am Daniel Bryan. In fact, Daniel Bryan's not even one of my favorite wrestlers, so I'll be fine with it. I'll just be like, hey, you IWC members, deal with it. Because the Guardians of the Galaxy star and soon James Bond villain Dave Batista needs a WrestleMania payout, brothers. More important than Daniel Bryan, who is not going to get that mainstream exposure. Well, Daniel Bryan can get mainstream exposure, but come on, Batista was Drax. He was Drax the Destroyer. What's Daniel Bryan compared to Drax the Destroyer? I bet you more people know who Batista is than Daniel Bryan. I bet you that's the case. I bet you more people know who the fuck Dave Batista is than Daniel flippin' Bryan. The fake Garbage Man asks, even after what you said in your last Q&A, I still love you. And once again, fake Garbage Man, I can't express that same love to you, man. I'm sorry. Diamond and Spoon asks, how's David Otunga still employed? He wrestles less than Brock Lesnar. Beats the hell out of me. I do not know why David Otunga is still employed, because to me personally, I don't hate Otunga. I actually think the guy has somewhat charisma to him. He's terrible in the ring, but he's someone that can play the coach role. You know, that assistant general manager role. Or I think he is so well spoken that he could actually play a really, really good commentator. I don't know why the WWE doesn't have anything to do with this guy. I mean, this guy has a Harvard lawyer degree. He came from flipping Harvard, and he has a law degree. So wouldn't you think you want to use this guy, make him a lawyer on TV, and actually have some interesting, like, Judge Judy-like segments with this guy? Wouldn't you think that would make sense to use for David Otunga? Make it where he pays off the referees before the match. Make it where he uses the judicial system to win matches. I mean, he would actually be a really good heel character, too. I don't know how he's still employed, though. Like, I don't even know if he's injured. Like, I remember I read a report, like, Jesus, like, it was like summertime, like that his wife wanted him to stop wrestling, and David Otunga's like, oh, I'm dealing with some injuries, and I'm like, when the fuck did you get injured? 2012? Like, you haven't wrestled since then, bro. So yeah, I don't know how he's still employed. I think he's just still employed because of his background, in all honesty, because he is a Harvard law degree graduate. You know, maybe he does some lawyer work with WWE Corporate. Who knows how that guy's still employed? World Herald asks, yes, my boy. World Herald question, who is this guy called Scott something that died just from now, from Sportscaster, asked by World Herald. Oh, Stuart Scott, may he rest in peace. Stuart Scott was a great, great sportscaster that changed the game when it came down to how you present sports on TV. He was pretty much my childhood. I watched Stuart Scott on ESPN almost every single night watching highlights, and he would say stuff that were just like booyah. On the other side of the cold pillow, like the cold side of the pillow, like I never knew that. Like when I remember when I first heard that phrase, that was the first time I ever flipped my pillow and said, "Holy crap!" When you do flip the pillow, it's the cold side of the pillow. So Stuart Scott just had a fun way when it was announcing, and just for you, World Herald, and for most people who don't know, Stuart Scott was battling cancer for several years, and it was amazing how well he fought that cancer. And it sucks that he's gone. Like I was literally shocked when I read Stuart Scott was gone. Like I remember I went on ESPN. It was like before I think it was the Colts and Bengals playoff game. I went on ESPN and it said Stuart Scott dies at 49, and I was like, "Well, what?" I like rubbed my eyes and I clicked on the article and I watched the video and got a tear in my eye because, like I said, I watched this guy cover sports since I was like a little freaking kid. So he was like my childhood. So it sucks to see that Stuart Scott's gone. May he rest in peace. Oh, that was a downer of a question. Largest 85 asks, will WWE this year be 1,000 times or 100,000 times worse than 2014? Or I think that's a million. I can't really read it right there. It's too early to tell, man. Oh, ask me this around summertime. Then I'll give you the answer. Gamer asks, can you tell me about Jared Gator's situation? Because I really don't understand it. Did he really fake injuries? All right, so this is for people who are Chargers fans. You guys know who Jared Gator is. Jared Gator was a left tackle that the Chargers signed, I believe, at the end of the 2011 season. I can't remember. But I believe it was at the end of the 2011 season. Jared Gator came onto the Chargers, and the Chargers paid Jared Gator a good amount of money to be their new left tackle because at that time, Marcus McNeil was pretty old and fat, and he couldn't really do much in protecting Phillip Rivers. Jared Gator came in, and he did a really, really good job. So the Chargers had offered him a contract, and then all of a sudden, Jared Gator started to suck. He started to have all these injuries and became a locker room cancer, per se. He just started to cause a lot of problems in the locker room. And yes, gamer, he did fake injuries. That was pretty much what happened with him. He pretty much faked injuries. When you're pissing off Eric Weddle, you're doing something wrong in the Chargers organization because from what I hear about Eric Weddle is that he's one of the chillest guys in the world. So if you're pissing off Eric Weddle and Eric Weddle's saying bad things about you, oh, yeah, you're doing something wrong. But yeah, he pretty much faked injuries and he didn't show up to practices. So that's why the Chargers let him go. Yeah, fuck Jared Gator. He was supposed to be our left tackle and then he just started to be an idiot. But hey, he still got paid, so that's all that matters, I guess. Lace Up Graveyard asks, what was the biggest burial of all of wrestling? Ooh. It's hard because it's so subjective of what you look at it, and it's so subjective of what year and era. Some people from the mid-90s will say Vader got buried by Shawn Michaels, which is true. Yeah, Shawn should have done the job to Vader at that SummerSlam, but instead Shawn was telling that fat ass to move the fuck out of the way and all that other stuff. So you could say Vader. You could say Bret Hart got buried pretty bad at WrestleMania 9. I mean, here he is losing to Yokozuna, and then Hulk Hogan comes in and beats Yokozuna like it's nothing. So you could say Bret Hart got buried pretty bad. But for me, I always say the Nexus is one of the biggest burials of all time because here is a group of 7 very young talents that had the potential to be something for your company, whether they're going to be world champions, tag champions, mid-card champions, or whatever. These 7 guys had potential to not only affect your company for that year, but affect your company for the next 5 to 10 years. Like, you could have made at least 4 or 5 of those members in the Nexus into legit roster stars for you guys, into legit guys that you can actually take seriously. And they got buried on that one night by John Cena. Like, John Cena did all the burying. When John Cena freaking got DDT'd onto concrete and he kicked the fuck out, that was like a burial to me. That was like, oh my God, really? Cena kicked out from a DDT by concrete. He got DDT'd onto the concrete and he kicked out like it was nothing. He got up and did the AA to Justin Gabriel and Wade Barrett and was like, LOL, Cena wins. So I always say the Nexus just because to me, it was like there were 7 guys. And like I said, you could pick or choose. 4 or 5 of those guys should be big time players right now. But when you look at it, Bad News Bears doing the same shit. Ryback's finally gaining some steam, but when will he win the championship? We don't know. You know, Heath Slater is just a joke. He's not really doing much. Justin Gabriel's playing high school bully on NXT. You know, Darren Young is doing nothing. Michael Tarver's gone from the company, and and David Otunga, like we talked about earlier, he ain't doing shit. So yeah, I'll say the Nexus because they could have really used that one at SummerSlam. Michael Moran asked, do you think Lions got screwed due to bad officiating against the Cowboys? No, because the Lions had a 2-touchdown lead that they choked. I know you're a Lions fan. Oh, no, you're a Giants fan, actually. But I know you hate the Cowboys, but just saying. The Lions choked. They showed why they are the Detroit Lions. Nothing good can ever happen for that organization or franchise. I mean, how in the blue hell are you going to be up by 2 touchdowns and then freaking choke away that lead? And I know a lot of people say, oh, that pass interference chase, it would have changed the game. Well, how do we know that the fucking Lions would have scored on that drive? Just saying, how do we know that the Lions would have scored on that drive? If that pass interference never got picked up, how do we know that the Lions would have actually punched in for a touchdown? Because me, watching the Detroit Lions this year, it's always been low expectations. Like, for me, when I would watch these guys on film and watch their games, I'd just be like, God damn, you're in the red zone. You have one of the best fucking receivers in the game. You have one of the most dynamic running backs in the game. You have one of the better number 2 wide receivers. Why in the blue hell? How in the blue hell are you struggling to score in the red zone? How in the hell are you struggling to score in that situation? It's just 20 yards. You know, I like Stafford and all. I think he's a talented QB, but I think he's more of a problem than a solution for Detroit. That's just me. That's just me because, honestly, I don't think Detroit would have scored on that drive. I think they would have once again settled for a field goal, and I still think Dallas would have won the game. So, yeah, that's just my opinion on it. Derek asked, did you see that Zayn and Owens might be on the WrestleMania 31 card? That'd be amazing. That'd be pretty cool, but I don't think they're going to make it on the WrestleMania 31 card. Really? An NXT match? Your biggest show of the year? I get it. A lot of wrestling fans are high on NXT. Keep in mind, you know, 80,000 people. How many of those people actually watch NXT or subscribe to the network? So, yeah. But it would be kind of cool. It would be a great match if it happened. I'll say that. But I wouldn't know if you would put that on your WrestleMania card. And who knows? Even if that match does well, do you think more people are going to buy the network to watch NXT? I don't think so. So, yeah. Jake Loomis asked, oh, no, wait, I answered just at the last Q&A. My bad. Jack DeLeo asked, do you think William Regal was unlucky to never win a world title? Not unlucky. Because Regal was never really a guy that you looked at and you said, he deserves a world title. That's just me. Like, Regal's not one of those guys where it's like, you know, he really deserves it. You know, I mean, he's not in the Chris Benoit or Eddie Guerrero category where you're like, you know what, he really deserves it. He was like kind of a guy, like, if he won it, people would be happy for him and people would say, damn, that's so awesome, Willie Regal won the title, but it's not like he deserved it. I mean, he had a chance to win the title. I guess you can consider him unlucky because when he was on that roll, when he was a king of the ring, you figured that they might put the title on him just for shits and gigs and see what he does for 2 months before jobbing to Cena. So, yeah, I guess kind of unlucky, but then again, he did the performance-enhancing drugs that got him in trouble, so how unlucky is he? Marcus Ryan asks, how about this for a match? Great Khali versus Kevin Nash, and who can tear their quad first match? Well, first off, Marcus Ryan, Great Khali does not have any stories of him tearing a quad, so I don't know why you chose him. But since it's a who can tear their quad first match, Kevin Nash loses because Great Khali has no pass where he has teared a quad at all. Nintendo Fanboy 1998 asks, what if WWE repackaged Emma and Santino and gave them satanic gimmicks? You know what's sad is? That'd be worse than their comedy gimmicks that they had. It would be more comedic and more funnier than what they were trying to do with those two. I don't think I would have been a big fan of it. Like, does Santino really look like a guy that would be like, support the Satan? And does Emma look like a girl that would say she would support Satan? Nah. I wouldn't be a big fan of it. But it could probably provide some good comedy. Little Fish asks, what if Roman Reigns eliminates Daniel Bryan? How would that asshole Deluxe Man and other smarts like him react? Oh. This is how they would be reacting. What? What? Oh my God! How could you? How could you? How could you give that piece of shit? Oh, I can't believe it! I hate this company. I'm no longer gonna watch. I'm not gonna watch anymore. I'm done. I'm done. I'm not gonna subscribe to the network anymore. I'm done watching wrestling. No, no, no. Screw you, Roman Reigns. That's pretty much how they will react to it. They're just going to bitch and moan and cry and complain, and then I'm going to sit here as a wrestling fan saying, like, this is why I'm sometimes embarrassed to be a professional wrestling fan. I'm sometimes embarrassed about how the YWC and IWC acts about stuff. Like, my friend, I've never told this story, but my friend said, so how did Daniel Bryan get in the title match? And I said, well, the fans are really behind him because they were very upset that he didn't win a Rumble. And he's like, so you're telling me that if you cry enough, if you cry and complain and bitch a lot, that you can actually get an opportunity of a lifetime? I'm like, pretty much. He's like, man, no wonder why wrestling sucks. Because it's true. What happened to the good old days where it wasn't like, oh, you gotta put me in the match, the fans love me, listen to the people. Like, what happened to the good old days where a dude could just be a straight up badass and earn his opportunity? I mean, did Austin and The Rock cry and complain for their freaking title matches? No. I'm just saying. Yeah. It's just hard sometimes to be a wrestling fan because, like, it's just like, I understand where some fans would be upset, but it's just to the point where it's just like, you're not upset in a good way. You're not, like, down and bummed out. Like let's say when your team loses in a playoff game, a lot of you football fans would know, when your team loses, it sucks. You're going to be upset. You're going to be like, damn it, man. And you're going to be like holding your head like this, shaking it and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you don't let it consume you. You don't let it eat you up. You just kind of move on with it. That day may suck, but then the next day after your friends kind of rib you for it, then afterwards you move on, it's gone. But it's like if Daniel Bryan doesn't win the Rumble, it's like all of a sudden like the whole next 2 months are going to be terrible apparently. Which I don't get. Why do wrestling fans think like that? Like, oh, he doesn't win the Rumble, the next 2 months are going to suck balls. No, not really. Like, wrestling fans hold a grudge for, like, years, man. It's just ridiculous sometimes. But, hey, it is what it is. Nat Laugh. Hey, my boy Nathan asks, if you were given the task by WWE to 5 superstars from the main roster, who would they be and why? Garbage Man, because he sucks. That's a good reason. You know, I hate to say it, but Cesaro. And the reason being is so he can actually succeed somewhere else. Because I miss seeing Cesaro actually succeeding and doing shit. So I'll say Cesaro just for him to succeed. Curtis Axel, because I don't really care for him. And I feel like he's just missed potential at this point. So you might as well just send him off to the independents and see what he does there. Who else? Who else do I would want fired and why? Sin Cara. Seriously, you're not doing anything with him on the main roster. So might as well just get rid of him. I mean, he's just a failed experiment. Why, just bring up Kalisto, make us forget that Sin Cara even existed. And then number 5, Rosa Mendes. I just chose a diva, and they're like, what does Rosa Mendes really bring? Yeah, she's good looking, but she doesn't really do much else. So those would be the 5 superstars I would fire. The Savvy Yes Man asks, do you agree or disagree with people when they say that the San Antonio Spurs are our boring NBA team? I disagree from a hardcore basketball fan sense because I don't think the Spurs are all that boring. But I can see why casual fans think the freaking Spurs are boring because, really, to be honest, none of their players have any personality. Like, freaking Tony Parker will hit a game-winning 3. Like, you know, you have Kevin Durant hitting a game-winning 3, and he fucking pumps up his chest. He's all hyped up. Tony Parker hits a 3. He's like, it's like a boring celebration. But to me, it's just like, most of the Spurs players don't have any personality. None of the Spurs players are really that exciting because they play like fundamental basketball. Like Ginobili is no longer the Ginobili that was in 2000. That was just like, oh my god, this dude is crazy fun to watch. Now he's like old and he tries to do crazy stuff, but it doesn't really work out all that much. So when it really comes down to it, I can see why casual fans call the Spurs boring because none of their players are really that exciting to watch and they don't play a fun style of basketball. They play such a fundamental style. But for me, as a hardcore basketball fan, I would have to disagree with people when they say the Spurs are boring. But hey, I can understand why casuals find them boring. Bill Bradford asks, what do you think John Cena's greatest achievement in the WWE is? John Cena's greatest achievement? winning the WWE Championship. Yeah, that would be his greatest. I feel like that was one where people were actually wanting to see Cena on top, and they were waiting for JBL just to finally drop that belt. So I would say that's his greatest achievement. Little Fish asks, what if WWE does an NXT Invasion storyline with Triple H versus the main roster guys, with Vince kind of like the Invasion storyline with WCW and WWF? Cool or not, in your opinion? Oh, that would be really cool. That would actually be fun to watch. It's just the aftermath and the booking of it all would just kind of be a little bit of a concern. You know, I can go into huge detail of why it could be a concern, but just know it's just Vince McMahon's company, and we all know that the NXT guys wouldn't get a big rub from this. If anything, they would all just get buried by the end of this feud and storyline. That's the reason why I probably wouldn't be that excited for it. But other than that, that's actually a really cool concept and idea if booked correctly. John Kunt asks, what if Paige had a vampire gimmick? Would that work with her since she has a goth pasty look? Yeah, it would work if this was 1999. Because today the WWE would be like, all right, Paige, go out there and be a vampire. By the way, don't forget to put those glitters on. Fucking trying to copy the Twilight vampires. She'll be a friendly vampire where all she wants to do is love everyone. Woohoo! I mean, in a sense, yes, a vampire gimmick would work for Paige, but in today's WWE, they would make that shit really bad. Sharora Horo asks, what do you think of Jon Bones Jones failing his drug test and getting stripped of his title and going to rehab? Oh yeah, Jon Jones sniffing that cocaine. That kind of explains a lot of erratic behaviors by Jon Jones. It really does, because Jon Jones will post videos on Instagram that are just so weird. You're like, why is he posting that? Is he high? But now it makes sense because he's been snorting up that coke. But when it comes down to it, first off, Choro, he didn't get stripped of his title. Come on, Choro. This is the UFC. They ain't going to punish any of their top guys. Nah. Now, if you're some lower card bum, then yeah, you're going to get fired and stripped of whatever the hell you have. But this is Jon Jones, one of their top pay-per-view draws. They ain't going to strip no title off of him. Nah, they told his dumbass just go to rehab and get better so you can come back. And when he gets out of rehab, he's going to smoke a fucking line off Dana White's bald head. Pissed me off that Jon Jones got all that special treatment, but it kind of makes sense why sometimes he's so erratic and acts so weird. I hope he gets better. I hope he actually does, because cocaine is seriously a messed up drug and it can do really bad things to you. So I hope that Jon Jones finds a way to get better and he improves himself as a person going forward. Because he's a really good young... If anyone's watched the UFC, you know Jon Jones is really good. And it would suck, if he would just get into the drug scene and he would diminish his skills and his abilities. And you get what I'm saying. But I hope he gets better. I just hate that Dana White's protecting him a lot. And kind of explains a little bit of his erratic personality. The Gochi Man asks, do you think anybody is ready to win the Royal Rumble in 2015? Nope. Nope. Not at all. The only guy that I really think is ready is John Cena. And that's because the company features him like he should win the Rumble. I know it sounds bad that I'm saying Cena, but that's just the truth. Like, out of any guy that I look at in this Rumble, none of them, to me, feel ready enough to go main event WrestleMania. Only John Cena is like the one guy that I feel like is ready enough to main event a Mania, and I don't want to see that at all. I don't think anyone wants to see that at all. So... yeah. Matt Gochi asks, if Roman Reigns was 6 feet and under and wrestled like Daniel Bryan, Seth Rollins, and Dolph Ziggler, then do you think the IWC would praise him? Oh, yeah. They would grab their lotion and jack off to him and say that he deserves an immediate main event push. So, yes. Redwolf316 asks, have you seen the Ant-Man trailer? If yes, what do you think of it? Haven't seen it yet, my man. I've been meaning to check it out. I've just been really busy with work and school and stuff, and I just haven't got a time to see it. I've heard mixed things about the trailer so far, but I'm going in with a clear head. Hopefully, it'll be really cool to check out. Clarkson Lopez asks, what did you think of the first 2 SmackDown games for the PlayStation? Oh, really good games. I like SmackDown 1 and SmackDown 2. Those were really, really fun games, especially SmackDown 2. SmackDown 2, there's so much you could do. You can go to a season mode in 2028 and test is still challenging for that damn European title. Every single time. I remember, it would be always like the start of 2048. I'll be the European champion. And fucking Test would be all like, hey, I want your European title. I'm like, bitch, I already beat you a year ago. Why do you want to keep on challenging me? Freaking idiot. Stupid Test. But yeah, like SmackDown 1 and 2. Season modes were not the best, but they were definitely fun to play. Greg Toomer asked, why are people getting so upset over Roman Reigns' push? Do people really want to spend another 5 to 10 years with John Cena at top? Yeah. I don't understand why people get so upset when a new guy that is a big muscly guy that the WWE wants to push is getting pushed to the fucking moon. Because do you idiots not realize if Roman Reigns fucking succeeds, then we get rid of John Cena? Then you guys get your little fantasy bookie of John Cena turns heel. Why in the blue fuck? I don't understand. Because see, people have watched wrestling for so many years. They have watched this company for so many damn years. And yet they don't understand the fucking concept that Vince McMahon and Triple H are muscle marks that want to see a big guy fucking succeed. Shit. They give you your Daniel Bryans, your CM Punks, and your Dolph Ziggler's the world title reigns. But let's face it, people, when it comes down to the business mindset of the WWE and Vince McMahon and Triple H, they want the muscle marks on top. They want Roman Reigns to be the main featured guy that you see on the damn posters. So I don't get it why fans get so pissed off when Vince McMahon is trying to push a muscle. That's how the company has been successful for many, many fucking years. So Vince believes that's still the freaking way it works. And if Roman Reigns fails, I always tell people this. People who freaking hated seeing Ryback, I don't know why. I really don't know why. Yes, he's limited in the ring. Yes, he can't really do all that much. But why? Because you know Ryback could out-surpass John Cena at some point. And yet people were so happy when this guy finally is not getting pushed anymore. And yet when they finally realize how much the WWE fucked this guy up, they feel sorry for him. Watch, when Roman Reigns is teaming up with Heath Slater out of all fucks in the world, and they're doing like Slater Reigns tag team, people are going to be on the IWC saying, man, it sucks that Baron Corbin's getting pushed. They really messed up on Roman Reigns. Duh, duh, duh. Seriously, do you people like being suffered and freaking tortured? Do you guys really want to see John Cena be the man for more years to come? I'm just wondering. I get it if a lot of you guys don't like Roman Reigns or don't like Ryback. I get that completely. But why in the blue fuck are you pissed off these guys are getting pushed? Because these are the guys that the WWE wants to replace John Cena with. So if we can get John Cena to stop being the top guy, John Cena can do other stuff that we want to see him fucking do. Ugh. Yes, Carson. I feel like wrestling fans do want to see John Cena more on top. Because when you look at it, John Cena is one of the most talked about wrestlers of all time. Good or bad, whatever. He's still talked about. People still want to tune in to see if he won a fucking match and get pissed off if he wins. I don't know why. Wrestling fans like to punish themselves sometimes. I don't get it, man. Now, sorry I got really emotional with that answer. It just pisses me off when people who have watched wrestling for a long time just don't get it. Just don't understand that the guys who are the muscle marks, the guys who are the big muscle guys that suck in the ring, they're going to replace the fucking guy you hate the most. And yet you don't want to see them succeed. I don't get it. Because when CM Punk was on top, when the blue fuck was John Cena still not a featured guy? Last I checked, when CM Punk was his long-reigning WWE champion, who was main eventing more pay-per-views than him? Oh yeah, that's right, John Cena. So don't tell me that guys like CM Punk and Daniel Bryan could ever surpass Cena as being the top guy, because the WWE has shown in the past that they will not allow that to happen. They want guys like Ryback and Roman Reigns to do so. Namaste. Ultimate WWE apologist. Yes, I love this guy. Who do you want to win the Royal Rumble in 2015? For me, don't care who wins. Every one of those guys deserves to win it. Ryback. That's who I want to win. Esquerito Compton asked, what if Jericho came to the WWE after the Invasion angle instead of the summer of 1999? Oh, he'd get married. Yeah. I don't think Jericho's career would be successful at all. Because a lot of the superstars that he feuded with to have a successful career early in 99 are pretty much gone or not really doing that much for the company. So yeah, I don't think Jericho's career would have been successful at all if he came after the Invasion angle. I mean, unless he feuded with Goldberg, if the Goldberg feud actually freaking happened, then yeah, he could kind of be successful. It's like, oh yeah, remember he feuded with Goldberg, but if that never happened, yeah. So no, I don't think it'd be successful. Reed 19 asks, how physically large is Triple H's ego? Can it be even quantified? It's as big as the Eiffel Tower. Jay Walker asks, what is your predictions for WWE in 2015? In my eyes, it's most likely going to be the exact same company I've been watching for the past 6 years. Ding, 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 ding. Stole my answer, Jay. That's pretty much my answer. It's going to be the same company we saw last year with some minor improvements. And keyword on the minor. It's not going to be that big. The Real Heel asks, what do you think of Trinity from TNA? I thought she was an underrated women's wrestler. She was really underratedly hot. She was alright. I didn't really love her all that much, but yeah, she was pretty damn good. She was pretty damn good looking, I should say. Josh Chambers asks, which wrestlers do the WWE high on the most? Ryback or Roman Reigns? Oh, Roman Reigns. Yeah, they love Roman Reigns more than Ryback. Because if Ryback was completely loved, they would have given him the title. Roman Reigns, when you just look at him, I mean, Jesus, dude looked like a stud. So I think they like Roman Reigns a lot more. Because Ryback, let's just keep in mind, in 2013, when Ryback should have won the Royal Rumble, not John Cena, it should have been Ryback, they weren't even featuring him like he was a favorite to win the Royal Rumble. Roman Reigns, the WWE is going out of their way to make you believe that this guy is going to win the Rumble. So there you go. Slapnuts 2000 asks, what if Triple H had his own video game where his weapon was his golden shovel? Buy that game immediately. And it better be freaking a side-scrolling adventure game with a lot of buttons where I could press and say burial freaking phrases to. Oh, I'd buy that game. It'd be amazing. Rebecca Olsen asks, what are some dumb things you see the WWE doing this year? John Cena being the greatest superstar of all time push. Seth Rollins maybe failing in his Money in the Bank. I really do feel like they're going to freaking fuck up his cash in. Dean Ambrose turning heel during the summertime because the WWE doesn't realize that this guy should be a babyface. Cesaro still not being featured on television. And Garbage Man getting a title shot somewhere in 2015, late 2015. Those are the dumb things I see WWE doing this year. John Cool asks, what if the Breakfast Club had their own cereal that came with tiny golden shovel for a spoon? So it's like a golden spoon. Have you guys heard those ice cream places? Maybe just me. But yeah, what do you think, John? Come on. You know I'm a huge Breakfast Club fan. I love those politics and egos that they fucking have. Of course, I would love it. RFV085. Bro, you asked 2 questions. 1 question per video, my man. I'm sorry if I didn't make that clear, but yeah, 1 question per video, people. Let's see, which question sounds more interesting? Oh, God. Both of them sound really good, but I can only answer one because this video is going on forever. If John Cena was a sporting athlete, would he be the greatest sporting athlete of all time, considering that he's been on the top for 10 years, always wins, and on the rare occasion that he loses, it's always to his opponents cheating? Yeah. Oh, I agree with that RFV089. Yeah, for sure. If wrestling was a legit sport, and they counted as it, and they actually cared about wins or losses, yeah, he would be considered one of the greatest sporting athletes of all time. No questions asked. So yeah, I agree with that, man. And Final Limits wraps up this Q&A asking, what if Garbage Man got fired for real? How happy would you be? Ha ha! So fucking happy. Hey, keep in mind, people, I like when wrestlers can succeed and do well. Don't get me wrong. I really do. It's just when certain individuals that don't deserve a certain spot start getting pushed in that certain spot is when I get pissed off. To me, Garbage Man is one of those guys. He should not be getting a singles push. Not even that, be featured in the main storyline. The fact that this dude is one of the 3 guys that got fired pisses me off because it shows that the WWE is trying to push this idiot. Why? This guy is not ready to be a single superstar. This guy is still a tag team wrestler. He was one of the biggest jobbers in the Wyatt family faction. Why in the blue fuck am I going to take this guy seriously? He's ass in the ring. He's not entertaining whatsoever. God. I'd be happy because it would show that the WWE is not going to accept mediocrity. They're not going to say, hey, you know what, Garbage Man, he's not really that good. Let's fire him. Let him improve outside of the wrestling business, outside of the WWE. Let him go to Japan. Let him go to freaking ROH. Let him go anywhere else but here to improve, and then we'll bring him back. That's why I would be happy, because I really think outside of the WWE, Garbage Man could actually improve and become a better professional wrestler. I think right now he is not deserving of the spot that he is in, and that's one of the main reasons why I hate Garbage Man. So there you have it, folks. That's how we're going to end the Q&A. Garbage Man. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this edition of the Q&A. Sorry it went long. A lot of questions. A lot of ranting. But, hey, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure, guys, check out all the links in the description box down below. Enjoy your guys' evening. Peace.